in Massachusetts today on watching what's unfolding over in Brussels today. And the security people were saying that they were predicting this was going to happen. It happened. They, conducted dozens of raids. They even shut down the Capitol for a couple of days. Are we getting to a point even here in America where sort of an open society is dwindling to a close? And are there lessons from that that we should be learning here?
Well, I would say that we learned a lot of lessons from 9/11, and that since that time we've implemented a lot of them. One of the biggest lessons we learned from 9/11 was the lack of communication that took place, not just between federal, state, and local law enforcement and security officials, but between and among law enforcement officials and security officials at the federal level, at the state level, and the local level. And the whole creation of the NSA, as well as the development of the fusion centers that operate in various regions around the country, including the one here in Boston that serves New England, which are basically designed to create connectivity, both in terms of information and personnel between federal officials, state officials, and local officials, was one of the biggest elements that came out of that. And a big piece of the information that we get comes from the back and forth that goes on every day, depending upon what level of severity that enterprise is set at, that comes from the fusion center.
So
and I fully expect that's going to continue to be sort of the primary source of information that we all deal with.
So are we doing a better job of that than the Europeans are? Is that what you're
I don't know enough about the Europeans to be able to speak to that. What I can say is that there is always dialogue going on between local, state, and federal law enforcement and security officials about what's happening here domestically and in the world at large. And depending upon the nature of that dialogue and the nature of the information that comes through that dialogue, it raised the threat levels up and down. And there was a 2 o'clock call that we had today that involved a number of those players to talk about whether there were any credible or immediate issues that we needed to be dealing with. And while there were none, there was a significant enhancement in law enforcement presence at Logan, and the transit and local Boston folks put a significant presence into the transit system and into the city of Boston. And there's always the importance of, citizens in this stuff. I mean, see something, say something may sound kind of trite, but it's important and it matters, because if you look at what happened at the airport, which was just a monster tragedy in Brussels, that happened in a public place.
So you're not too overly worried that something like that could happen here?
Well, I'm always going to be vigilant and concerned about anything like that, but I do take some degree of comfort from the ongoing, constant dialogue that takes place between all 3 levels of government on this stuff.
Right, thanks.
If it wasn't going on, I would want it to be going on.